Hello, good evening. Welcome to Happy Life Show tonight. My golden audience, friends, I hope that you're having a very happy day today. I'm very excited about tonight because I have a special guest. He's an author. His name is Barry Brown. He wrote a book, A Journey to Balance. I'm excited about this because today in our society, among our families and friends, we do need a balance in life. Many obstacles, many challenges, people losing jobs, homes, healthcare, illnesses. It's hard to keep ourselves in check and in balance sometimes. And that's why we need to focus about this topic from time to time so that we can find a balance in our life, so that we all can live a happier life, a more meaningful life, and a more productive life. Yes, life is full of obstacles, but it should not stop us to continue to search joy, balance, and happiness. We want to welcome our friend, Mr. Barry Brown, to our Happy Life Show. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Brown.
Hello, Mr. Shen.
Welcome you.
Thank you
to
very
Happy
much.
Life Show.
I'm excited to be here.
Thank you, thank you. Well, please tell our audience, why do you want to write a book?
Well,
and tell us a little bit about you as an author.
Well, first of all, I'm an older kind of guy, so I've been kind of writing this book my entire life, even though I really didn't realize I was writing it. But I kind of developed this philosophy of life. And it happened when I was very young. I was about 10 years old. And what would happen was that late at night I would wake up and I couldn't move.
Really?
About 2 or 3 minutes, I was totally paralyzed. I didn't know what was going on. But I dismissed it. I said, well, you know, nobody else, this doesn't happen to anybody else that I've ever heard of. So I forgot about it. And then it happened again. And then I asked somebody, and they said, well, you're dreaming. Well, I know I wasn't dreaming. And it happened again. And then it kept happening. And I went to school. One day we were having a book report. And there was a lady, it was in a psychology class. And she did her book report from Robert Monroe. And it said something about journeys out of the body. And when she explained it, I realized that I was having some type of experience like that. And I read about people that had near-death experiences too. And I said, maybe there is more to life than what we know so far. So that started me on the path to find out what was going on. And what about life? Making a journey to balance, making sense of it all. And that's kind of what I was trying to do, is make sense of what was going on. So as time went on, I ended up having a couple kids. I've got a 4- and a 7-year-old. So I decided I would write a manuscript and talk to them about the philosophy, about balance, about the pursuit of happiness, about doing the things that are important to you. And I wrote the manuscript, and my wife said, why don't you go to a writer's club? And I said, well, no, I'm not going to, I don't know. It's just, I was just writing the book for them. So next month, she said, why don't you go to the writer's club? And I said, I told you I don't think I'm going to do it. She said, well, there's a publisher going to be there. Why don't you let him decide? Because she had read the manuscript and she really liked it. I said, well, okay. So I went to the Writers' Society and I saw the publisher. And he was giving a nice talk. And at the very end, he was my cousin that I hadn't seen in 30 years.
Whoa.
And I was just taken back because I don't really believe in coincidences. I believe that things happen for a reason. I think we're here for a purpose, a grand purpose. We didn't just drop out of the sky here. We came here because it was important to come here. It's important because the things that we do make an impact in our society, the world, everything. So when I saw him there, I thought, that's interesting. Didn't mean I was just going to go right out and publish the book because he was there, but it did give me pause to think about that. And then what happened was the facilitator said that she would like to edit my manuscript. And I said, well, I don't know what I want to do with it. And I don't really, and she said, look, I'll just do it. If you decide to publish it, you can give me a book. Couldn't turn that down.
Wow.
So
what a lucky man.
So yeah, I couldn't believe it. And I was like, this is, and I got a call about, 4 weeks later, and we met, and she said she absolutely loved the book and I should get it published.
Good, good.
And at that point, I decided, another coincidence. Things are going in that direction. So I decided that not only would I write for my children, but maybe there's things in there about balance, about living your life, about getting control of your life that could help a lot of other people. Because sometimes things that are short term seem to be very bad.
Right.
In the long run, become very good, very positive.
Exactly.
And when we get in there and we start judging, we say, okay, this is really bad happening to me. I hate this. I lost my job. I lost my house. I lost this or that. Or, somebody walked out on me or whatever. And if you go back, because I think we have short-term memories at times, but if you go back and you think of one of those tragedies or one of those perceived tragedies, and you look back at it and you go, well, that really changed my life. That made me go into a different direction. Yeah, I lost my job, but you know what? I really didn't like it that much in the first place. I was just pulling a paycheck, and I was just spending time doing something that really didn't feed my soul. I was just working. I was just doing it. Grudge, boom, boom, boom. And I lost it, and then I said, wait a minute. I have an opportunity to do whatever I want to do. I can go out there and do something else.
Right.
And you never know where that will take you. But sometimes, I think the universe sometimes gives us a kick in the butt. And it says, come on, you're getting just too comfortable. It's time to get down and get busy. And as soon as we see that, we should be happy when things happen, because life is meant for living. It's meant for getting out there and doing stuff, and not just going by rote, experiencing everything this world has to experience.
That's very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. It reminded me why I wrote my book of Happy Life myself. Several years ago, I was invited by a friend of mine, a teacher, and we talk about our younger generation need to be motivated to continue further their education right after high school. And he asked me to come to his 5 different English classes and talk to his students and to encourage the students further their education after high school. So I was very excited. That gave me a chance to serve the community, talking to the students. And even though at that time, I was facing a lot of challenges in my own life because of the downturn of the economy. I had illnesses, and I had cancer surgery, lost my first grandson. But it did not stop me to continue to help other people. And my positive attitude never dies, and always energized. So I went to the classes and talked to the students and shared my experience with them. And their appreciation motivated me to write a book of Happy Life. And the purpose of writing that book is to try to enrich the students' knowledges about how we can continue to search for happiness regardless of our situation.
Right.
And further education by learning is an independent path to achieve their goals and happiness. So not only helping others, which is the H, positive attitude with the A, be patient and passionate with the P and P, believe in ourselves, saying yes we can with the Y. When you share your love, how can you be unhappy? And when you continue to improve yourself 1% each time, 1 step each day, you can find a lot of happiness. And I told the students, life may not be fair to us, but we must be fair in life.
True.
And the education is so important. It's the foundation of mankind. When you continue to learn, when you continue to teach, we find all the happiness in the world. So I told the students, regardless what are you going to do right after high school. Continue to learn, regardless your path. And that would bring you a lot of joy and happiness and success in life. So how do you define success in life, Barry?
To me, success is finding your own path, finding your own way and living it. And sometimes it's very hard because we're inundated with all types of input from all different types of people. And when you're young, you're like, well, what do I do? What do I do? And I don't know what other people, some people define success as he who dies with the most toys wins. Or but I think that really success is when you follow your dream, you do what is important to you, what you get up in the morning and do, whether it's having a happy family, whether it's helping somebody that day, it's doing things that are important to you each and every day. And it's not, I don't think it's the accumulation that makes people happy. I think that happy people accumulate a lot of stuff, or it's kind of the chicken and the egg. But I think when you are on purpose and you have abundance to give away, the universe is like a mirror. What you throw out comes right back to you. In other words, if you throw out love, that's going to come back to you. If you throw out jealousy, that's what's going to come back to you. If you throw out fear, or anger, or happiness, or contentment, that's going to come back to you. Because there's a law out there, and called the law of attraction. And everything in the universe vibrates. We look at matter, but it's really energy.
Right.
If you don't believe me, we split an atom and we have an atomic explosion. A small little atom will release, will level a city. That's energy. Well, what's thought? But thought is an energy too. And when you're happy, what do you do when you're happy? When you're happy, you want to be around happy people. You want to hear music that's happy.
Right.
You want to be out in the sunshine. You want to dance. People, when they're happy, you know, we always like to start moving around and just having a good time.
Right.
And guess what that does? That attracts other people. They're saying, wow. Or people who are kind of, you know, just moving along, and they see somebody who's very happy and very excited, and that gets contagious.
Right.
And then they get happy, they get excited, and they're like, I want to be around that person because it makes me feel good, and I like what they have to say.
Very true.
And then if you get sad, what do? You want to be alone.
Really?
You want to put...
No, you don't want to be alone when you're sad.
Well, you call up some people and cry on their shoulder.
I would never be alone when I'm sad. Well, but everybody have different way of handling their own stress and sadness.
That's true.
Things like that, you know.
That's true.
But you know, my philosophy that if you're sad, you know, you have to share your story with other people.
Oh, sure,
you know, and if you live alone, you just keep building up your stress.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, the way I look at, you know, the terminology about success, you know, is if you keep trying, regardless where you're heading, then you're successful.
That's right. That's right.
That's very simple as that.
That's right.
You know, because a lot of people think that, you know, I make a lot of money, but the law of average tells us some make it, some luckier than the other, some have better paths, some make better choices. But when you talk about trying, as long as you keep trying, you are successful. Now, that's my definition. The reason that behind that is that when you keep trying, you find a lot of joy and happiness in the process. You know, and nobody that think that, oh, we can be the richest person in the world or happiest person in the world. But regardless you are rich or poor, but you all have a purpose in life. You all have a different projects, different purposes. If you keep trying to love your family, you know, and you do what you can, you should find happiness. You find success. We always can find success out of failure because you are not stopped trying.
Right.
And that's my definition of success.
I think it's keeping your eye on the goal. You know, we sit there and For instance, it's like, let's say you're flying an airplane every day, and every day you're going south.
Okay. What?
You keep going south.
Okay.
That's your job. You go south.
Okay.
You go south.
All right.
And you get tired of going south.
Uh-huh.
And you decide you want to change direction because you're bored. And then you change that direction. And you start, and then all of a sudden the altitude starts to drop.
Mm-hmm.
And you get scared because you're going to make a change. But you're on that path, and you know that that's the direction you want to go. But you haven't been down that road yet. And it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when a lot of people say, well, I'm going to give up. And I say, don't give up, even though you're starting to see things different. And you go, I want to go west. So all of a sudden the airplane starts slowing, starts dropping a little bit. And your ground control is saying, what are you doing? And you're saying, I'm making a change. I'm going to find my happiness. I'm staying on my path. Even though everybody else might not understand it. But it's my path. And you keep going. And all of a sudden you find you're going west. You realize you haven't been going that way before. And you go, wow, I'm fine. This is great. And you look up there and you see a storm cloud rising. And you go, I didn't expect that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're on your path, there's going to be changes, because I think a path is never static. It's always dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And it winds through the woods of your life. And I think what you have to do is, when you meet a thunderstorm or a snake on the path, you have to deal with it. And by stop trying, even though you see snake after snake after snake, if you stop trying and say, I don't want to go down that path because I don't like it, because it's scary, then that's where you wind up lost in the woods.
I see.
So being happy is, to me, and being successful, is not having obstacles, and is not going in the same direction all your life. It's changing when you think it's right to change. And when you face an obstacle, it's saying, I will figure a way to get through this obstacle. I will not quit. I will continue to get to where I need to go. So, go ahead.
So we need to find a purpose in life, or maybe a target, or maybe a destination, so that when we change in course, we still work toward to that same goal.
Well, yeah,
how do you interpret
I think
that?
so. It's like,
because when you keep going south without knowing where you're going, you can just spinning your wheels and wasting gas.
And getting nowhere except south.
So let's keep going south. So how do you set a purpose so that we can work toward that goal? And when we meet the challenges, how we, what are the natural reaction with our mentality or physical well-being to overcome those obstacles?
Well, first of all, okay. Well, I think I'll talk about basics.
Basics.
It's kind of getting back to the basics.
Very true. I'd love to hear that part of it.
BASICS, of balance. And the B it stands for beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you got to start.
Right.
And the first thing that we have to remember is, and I think is very important, and which I believe, is that when I came here, I chose my parents, I chose my sex, I chose where I lived in the United States, I chose all these things. And I think everybody else did too.
Really?
Yeah, you all chose, because that's where you came down for a reason, for a purpose in life. And you chose that. Now, you sit there and you say, okay, I am responsible for all these things. Well, if I'm responsible for them, I can change them. I can deal with it. I know. I'm no longer a victim. I'm no longer saying, if I didn't have that disability, then things would be better. Or, if I wasn't born with a poor family, things would be better. If I wasn't born and my parents split up, things would be better. Then my life would be better. You sit there and say, everything in my life is here because I created it. And you know what? If I created it, then I can change it. Because it's my responsibility. And once you get that, and that way the victimization, the blaming of others starts to go away. Because you're like, okay, this is me. This is what I'm doing. I chose all this. Now I'm going to make it work. And I'm not going to blame anybody else.
That's a good positive attitude.
For what's going on in my life. Because, you know, if you're bothering me, then that's not your fault. That's my fault. You know, I mean,
you got to deal with that.
I got to deal with it. I can either say you're bothering me, I can walk away, I can do whatever I want. Or I can sit there and go, well, you keep bothering me, and, you know, I just wish you'd quit. Well, you know, there you go, that victim. And you bother me because of whatever.
Because we have fun. You know, when you are bothered, sometimes it's good.
Yeah.
You know,
yes, it is.
You're detracted from the negatives, you know, and so you look at things from different perspective, and sometimes bothering is good. As long as it's not excessive.
Yeah, I'm just playing with you.
Right.
But
playing is good too. A lot of laugh and a lot of kick outs from it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think we got to get back to the beginning, in the basics. We got to get back to the beginning, and we got to get away from the why the world is treating me the way it is, and to say I'm going to accept me for who I am, and I'm going to accept the world for what it is, because I can't change the world, but I know I can change me and my attitude toward it. Once you get to that point,
wonderful. That's a great beginning.
That's a great beginning, and that's where it's got to start. It's got to start of cleaning out the cobwebs of being a victim and saying that I am not in control of my life. And I know there's a lot of people going, oh, but you don't know.
Right.
You don't know what I'm going through right now.
Absolutely.
And what I say is, whatever it is, it's got to be, it's a learning experience, and try to make it something positive.
Yes, sir. I definitely agree with that. You know, I never thought about the way that you said, is that we create our own life. You know, we chose to live in America. We do all that. I was born in Hong Kong, and 3 months before I was born, my father came to the United States for a better living right after the Second World War, because he was unable to find a job in Hong Kong. So I have not seen my father until I came to this country 16 years later, after my father's arrival, to meet my father for the very first time. So I couldn't say that I create my own life, that I could create, you know, my destiny to come to the United States, because they all set and planned it in advance of me. So I may see things from a little bit different perspective, because the life that I was brought up to. And I was brought up by my single mother in Hong Kong, and we were very poor. You know, I had a lot of, you know, challenging experiences, but they strengthened me and gave me the opportunity to understand life better. And I remember one day that I really doesn't have a lot of food to eat, and my mother shared me a chicken leg, and I love it. But my mother said, well, go ahead and eat the rice with the soy sauce chicken leg first, and then we save the chicken leg for tomorrow. And after the fourth day, that chicken leg became so small. And I said, Mom, you know, I need to eat this now. And she said, yeah, you can eat it today. And I was so happy. When I bite on that chicken leg, it's become like rubber. Because after you steam, you know, soy sauce chicken with the rice for 4 or 5 days, you know, the meat is become tasteless. And I said, Mom, this is not chicken leg. And she told me that, no, son, I know. But during the Second World War, that I have not had food for 4 days. I know that if I just have eaten the chicken leg from the first day, have no other food to eat for the next 3 or 4 days, and I know that you're not going to eat just the rice without the chicken leg soy sauce. So that's why I did it. And at that point, I understood. And I dipped that chicken leg back into the soy sauce table, and I ate that chicken tasteful. It was the best thing I ever ate, because I received the love and understanding from my mother's communication. She know that she did it for me. And when I taste that chicken, even though it tastes like rubber, it's juiceless, have no flavor, but it's so warm in my heart. I knew that this is the best chicken I ever ate. It was accompanying me for 4 full days. And I had 4 full days of the white rice with the soy sauce. And but when you look back on those episodes, and I know that how quick my mother was, and that her lessons, her teachings, and it inspired me. And even though I don't have a chance or opportunity to choose what I want to do, but because the people around me, they were so supportive, and it inspired me to become a better person. So when I see other people that they're in need of something, it's my place to share my mother's wisdom, and so that they all can benefit with my little action of smile or helping hands, whatever I can. During my best of the years, I just like yourself, I try to get back to the basics, and I help as much as I can with other people, but some days I need more help than ever. And so I think life is about a balance. So I definitely agree with you that we have to find a beginning, regardless our background, our past. To me, every single day is a new beginning.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So please let us know what is the rest of your basics, principles.
Okay. Well, what I liked about when you said that about the chicken, you could have sat there and you could have complained, and you could have said, "My neighbors over here, they're getting steaks and they're getting ducks, and they're getting all this, and I'm only getting this chicken."
But believe me, my neighbor did not have that much food either. We live in such a poor neighborhood.
Right.
No comparison. They have nothing too. When you don't compare yourself with other people, you're the happiest man on earth.
That's it. That's where you start.
That's where you start.
The only man that I have to better is me. That's the only one that I measure against.
Right.
And it's hard to do because all the media and all the, everything is trying to tell you to live this way, their way, pulling you one direction, this direction, that direction. And you have to have that inner flame that says, I am who I am. I am the person.
And accept it.
And accept it.
And since we are not able to change the circumstances, we can change our perspective.
That's it. That's it.
When we see things from different perspective, we can become a better person.
Just like when you said about the chicken leg. The circumstances were not pretty. We're not but you were happy.
Yes.
Because you took the best part of a tough situation.
Well, the appreciation is what it matters.
Okay.
When you appreciate things that what we already have, then I can enjoy it.
There you go.
Yeah. So what is that A for the basics?
Well, the basics. A is attraction.
Attraction.
Yeah, they say birds of a feather flock together. We've all heard that.
I would love to hear it again.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Okay.
And we attract who we are. We mirror the world, the people we see. We mirror the world. If you smile a lot, people will smile back. I like to smile at people when I pass by. And I notice they will smile back to me.
Absolutely.
And maybe that will help them just a little bit. Also, you attract into your life things that you think about. I've had times where I've thought about somebody and the telephone rings. And I'm like, hello? And they go, hi, I haven't talked to you in a long time. That's funny, I was just thinking about you.
Really?
Or you think or you think about a song and it comes on the radio. And you're like, because I think we're all kind of connected and in a way that our five senses don't really pick up. I mean, we got microwaves, we got radio waves. We can't see those, but we know that they work. We know that they're there.
Right.
We see the effects. And our thoughts create effects too. And the way we are, the way we interact, if you're happy and you're up, you're going to attract people who want to be around happy and up people. And I think we got to we vibrate at a certain frequencies. We change our frequencies as our emotions are happy or sad. It's like you put two guitars, one in a corner, one in another corner. You strike the E string on that guitar, the E string will start to vibrate across here. It vibrates in harmony with that. It picks up the vibrations across the room. Well, if that can happen, I think that when you vibrate, when you're happy or when you're sad or whatever, angry, you send those vibrations out.
Right.
And then that gets picked up. So when you attract, you can, and the law of attraction, when you start to realize that that is a possibility and that works, then you start, you realize that you know, if I just get positive and I talk to people and I'm not going to get things knock me down, things start happening. People start appearing in your life. And you start saying, that's another coincidence. And what's happening is you're drawing those coincidences, those things into your life. And that's when it gets very, very exciting, is because, okay, now you're starting to see that things that are happening are coming to me. The things I think about are starting. Mark Twain used to say that when he would write a letter, he wouldn't mail it because he swore that when he did that, the person he wrote to would visit. And he said they always did.
Oh, interesting. Well, I love your philosophy about go back to the basics and sharing our smiles. And how about if I tell you, Mr. Brown, I never smiled in my life. I just never smiled in my life. How can you motivate him? How do you able to engage him and help him or help me?
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. First of all, are you coming to me to say, I never smile in my life? What can I do? Then we can talk.
Okay. How about just I'm a
and I
stranger
can talk to you about that.
That I just saw a very stern face.
But if you're just walking around with a very stern face,
and you ask me, are you all right? Because I'm so sad. I say, well, I just never smiled in my life.
I think what it is, everybody has their path to walk. And maybe that person's not smiling because there are things in his life that he is trying to work through. And when he's ready to smile, when he's accomplished that, then he may smile. Not everybody comes down may want to be happy. They may want to be stern. They may want to be... We don't know. I don't know what your journey is on your path. Just, I would hope that it would be happy, that you would want to be excited. But that might not be your path. That might not be the way that you want to live your life. You may want to live your life and not smile. You may want to live your life and be angry at the world, and you may be fine with that. And that's okay, because I'm not going to go there and say, you have got to live my philosophy. You have got to live my way. Because once I do that, then I open up the possibility of somebody to say, you have got to live my way. Because if I tell somebody else how they should live, then I should allow somebody else
to tell
me how I should live.
I see.
So if the man is frowning and he goes, I never smile in my life, I think you're just one of those people that don't smile in your life. That's okay. Not everybody has to smile. If you say, I really want to tell you why I don't smile, and then I'll listen to hear him, because a lot of times I think that the one biggest thing we have today in deficit is listening. And listening...
We all need to listen more.
We got 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Really?
We should use it in those percentages.
Listen twice as much as I talk, right? I wish I could do that. I always talk 3 times more than I listen. And I have a lot of deficits myself, but we continue to learn.
But I think that's the biggest flattery, or it shows caring, is when you listen to somebody.
True.
We're so busy. We got all these equipment today. iPads, iPods, cell phones, this, that, and the other. Constantly busy, talk. And I think a lot of times the best thing you can do for another individual is just listen to them.
Well, it reminded me Barry, it reminded me that there's a Chinese word called listening. And that word is one of the most complicated words in Chinese writing. Thank you for reminding me about that word, because next week I came up with a new topic for my new show.
Is that right?
For listening, the word in Chinese. I'm going to share that
Fantastic.
word with my audience, how important that listening means to all of us. And matter of fact, I have to listen more often because I love to talk to people, and sometimes I talk more than others, but I think that from now on I need to listen more. All right, so that's a B.
That's an A.
Attraction, and then what is the S?
The S is synergy.
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 I love that. I have that.
We are greater than the sum of our parts.
Okay.
I was, last Christmas, I was watching A Wonderful Life. I think you probably all have watched it, or Jimmy Stewart, Donna Reed, back in 1946, and James Stewart was very down on his life, and his bank was about ready to go bankrupt, and he wished he had never lived, wished he had never existed. And then he was granted by an angel to see how his community would have been without him. And he hated it, and it was very violent, and there was a lot of, people died who he had saved and stuff like that, or who he had helped and whatnot. And then he came back and he realized how important his life was. And I think we don't realize just what we can do for people, or what we do to people. When we give a smile, somebody might say, that come back after you smiled at that person or held the door open. They might have been sitting there thinking that nobody cares and nobody smiles anymore and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And there are people that care about me, and they may have changed their path a little bit. And I think we impact we impact so many lives. It's kind of like they talk about the butterfly that flaps his wings in the West, and in Japan there's a tsunami. The chain of events. But I think that's stretching it. But I think that in synergy is recognizing that you are important in what you do. And what you do is a rippling effect. And it affects a lot of people. So how is it affecting, if you think, how is it affecting people? Am I bringing some good stuff to them? And they, bring good stuff to other people? Or what? And I think when you do smile, it's not just a simple smile, or a simple thank you, or a simple this. I think it's a lot bigger than that. Because when you do it, it might get passed on to somebody else, and somebody else, and somebody else.
Absolutely.
So you are greater than what you actually think you are by your actions.
By our actions. Well, we wish that maybe one of these days that we have a smiling day.
That would be good.
That would be good. I think that we all need a smiling days to smile to everybody that we encounter with around the world. Just once a day, every single day is also helpful. But in a smiling day, one day out of 365 days, I think that would be a very powerful reminder for all of us that we need to smile as much as often as we need to help our family and friends. That rippling effect really can help and change our lives. And for the man that told us that he never smile again, and this should not stop us to continue to smile to him, so that he can pick up the rippling effect, so that he began to understand smiling is not a bad thing.
Right.
And it's going to be helpful to all others. So that's a B, A, S, and I.
I, integration.
Okay, integration.
Integration is, we are part of the earth. And sometimes we feel like we're separate. But we were born here just like all the other animals. We feed on the earth just like all the other animals. We need the trees to breathe. The trees need us. And I think we need to get back to walking on the grass once in a while, to integrate and root our feet down into the soil and get the feeling of being part of the world, being part of the earth. Because when you start to feel all alone and you start to feel like I'm just out here in the middle of nowhere, that's when you get off balance. And to achieve that balanced state means, enjoying a sunrise, knowing that you're part of that sunrise, that you're seeing it, that you're enjoying it, listening to the waves, listening to the wind go through the trees, and feeling it on your skin, and watching the birds and the squirrels, and knowing that you are all a part. You're not the observer, but you're a part of them. You're a part of nature.
That certainly is true. We all are part of nature.
We are, and we need to maintain and remember that.
That's right.
So when you start to integrate yourself into life and realize this, I'm a part of all this.
Absolutely.
This is me. The world is me.
Well,
life is me.
Each one of us is so important, and which one of us can influence the people around us. That rippling effect really is going to be significant for many generations to come. I definitely agree with that. And so we got the B, A, S, I, and C. Okay.
And that stands for creativity. And I like this one.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Because that's the first thing God did.
Good
so
point.
it must be important.
Absolutely. So we love to hear it.
And, well, it kind of it explains itself. And part of being happy to me is being creative, is doing different things and experiencing the world and saying, let's try it a different way. Sometimes I get in this point where I'm just doing one thing again. When I go to work, take the same road over and over and over again. I'd see the same signs, I'd see the same boring landscape, whatever. And I'm like, wouldn't it be fun to just leave a little earlier and maybe take another drive and see what's different? And even though I would do that now and again, it seemed like the drive was quicker because I was doing something different than I normally do. And I try my best to get out of that doing everything because it's comfortable. I talked to my wife, I said, let's try something new to eat. And she, I don't know, what are we going to try? I said, I don't care, something. She said, what if I mess it up? I'm like, well, then we won't eat it. Or maybe I will, won't say anything.
Right.
But, and that was part, and we would do that once in a while, and it was fun. I mean, yeah, sometimes we would mess up. Sometimes we would have a result that we didn't like.
Right.
But at least we tried. And I think, when you start being creative, is just doing things that you don't normally do. And you don't have to do it all the time. I mean, just do it once in a while. Just have some fun with it.
Well, it reminds me, Barry, about the story that I just told you about my chicken legs. And that set a tone for the rest of my life. That I love to eat. I love and enjoy eating. It doesn't matter what kind of food. You can call it junk food, any kind of food that you put in front of me. As long as I know that is my meal, I'm going to find a way to enjoy it to its fullest, to 100%. For many years, I was busy, and I had, several businesses and 4 or 5 restaurants and managing a lot of people. So a lot of meetings. And I may not have a chance to eat my lunch after I prepared it, or my cook prepared it, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We don't eat lunch between 12 to 2 because that's the time that we serve our restaurant customers.
And those are good.
But right after, thank you. And right after 2 o'clock, then usually I eat my lunch.
Right.
But because phone calls, meetings, extensions, and uninvited visits, and I may not have a chance to eat my lunch until 5 or 6 p.m.
Wow.
The food was cooked early on, the rice was dry, and the meat was dried. And sometimes my chef and even my family members say, why don't you go to heat up or cook another order? I say, no, this is going to be my meal. I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to enjoy it to its fullest. I'm not going to waste anything.
There you go.
So the mentality is about how we interpret what we already have. And went through the hardships when I was young. I knew that the rice is difficult to attain. You know, the chicken legs is difficult to attain. It's like once every 40 days before you eat one chicken leg.
No, no.
And life
that is
easy.
hard.
Yeah, it's hard. Life was hard, and so you know that I think this is the gift that God gave me, the strength to understand life better. That whatever that put in front of me, in front of my plate, I always enjoy eating it. So I have no fear of trying anything.
That's great. That's great.
You know, and I love
creative.
all kind of food because of that reason. So now we have BASIC and then
S.
another S.
Another S.
Okay.
And that comes to simplicity. Simplicity.
I love that. Yes.
I say the KISS method.
What?
Keep the KISS.
The KISS.
Yes, the KISS. KISS. Keep
Uh-huh.
it simple, student.
Keep
it simple, student. In other words, try to uncomplicate your life.
That's a good advice.
And I'm still trying to do that.
We all do. Yeah.
Because there's so much. You know, you have tax time, and I get all, gosh, you know, I'm like, how do I do this? And we get this tax software out, and lines here or there, and whatnot, and then the car breaks down, and then I try to figure out how to fix that, or the lawnmower, or something. There's always something going on. And it just sometimes feels overwhelming.
Well, life is busy.
And life gets real, real busy. And sometimes you just got to stand, I think sometimes you just got to stand back and take a break and go back to a simple type of life and not just junk it all.
Just go back to the
spend
basics.
time, go back to the basics.
Just go back to the basics.
Just spend some time doing some simple things and just like let your mind unwind and stuff. And that's what I try to do. I go out and work on the garden. We plant, you know, vegetables and whatnot, and they don't usually grow, but we try. You know, sometimes we'll get a little bit, but not much. So I've got a brown thumb, not a green one, unfortunately. But when I'm
still smiling, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
Still,
Yep.
Have a lot of food.
I eat everything that grows. It might not be much, but I try to eat it, and we really enjoy it.
Well, because that's your product, though. You know, when you grow something, of course you want to eat it. That's, you know, that's natural. You know, our production, our family, our babies, you know, they always purchases. You know, it's lovely and all that. So, yeah. So whatever that you grow, I'm sure that you find a lot of joy.
I do, because it's fun to watch something that you planted to come to fruition.
To come to fruition.
And but I think, you know, when we keep it simple, is just trying not to. And I'm still working on that, of course. Of all of them, I'm still working on.
Right.
But I think it's like just getting away, or not answering that cell phone every single time it rings. If you're busy with doing something, saying the voicemail can catch it, you know, it's my time. I'm going to do what I need to do right now. I'm going to sit out on the deck and drink my coffee, read a book, like mine, and just time for me, just a simple life for just a little while, kind of refresh your batteries. So keep it simple. Keep it simple at times. Try to enjoy the gardening more than maybe a football game. Try to sit back and enjoy the kids running around, or enjoy just watching the wind blow the trees, instead of keeping everything so complex.
Right. I think that it makes a lot of sense. You know, keep our life simpler, and sometimes we are so busy. And it's great to talking to you, and we share different philosophy about how we all can balance our lives. And as the you know, about your book, it's a very attractive book, and
thank you.
I'm glad that we have a chance to listen to your philosophy, how you find your own path, how you can balance your life, and people can all learn from it. And at times, I have discovered, you know, all those we call experts in the stock market, And 50% of them are right and 50% of them are wrong.
That's right.
But it does not stop them to call themselves experts. But I have found that it's very interesting about finding a balance in life. We all can be experts, and we all need to listen to each other. We all have a story to tell, and more importantly, regardless that whatever the path that you want to choose or listen, you can always having your own way of balancing your life. And that is what is important. Because we all individuals and we all have our backgrounds, our education, our surroundings, and everyone else. So more importantly, please, ladies and gentlemen, regardless of your path, always try to find a balance with your best ability. And that is what is important. Because life is very, very difficult at times, but sometimes we need to simplify it, like my friend Mr. Barry just talking about, to simplify our life from time to time. Maybe just take a short while or a short weekend. Maybe 15 minutes a day you set aside to do the things that you enjoy doing. When you are busy, and sometimes instead of turning off your cell phone, you can just pick up a phone and call someone else that you love to express your love, to express your concerns, to express your caring, and just smile over different things and talk about our loved ones. So whatever that you choose to do, either put the phone aside, pick up the phone, or take a hot bath, and maybe just sit back and take a deep breath and say, whew, what a day. Tomorrow might be better. Whatever it works for you, we always can find a better way to live a happier and easier life. It's up to us. It's up to your choosing of how you interpret different things. And we learned a lot of lessons from our friend Mr. Brown today, and he wrote a very good book. And also that my book is very simple and Happy Life. We all...
Very good. I read it.
You read it? Thank you. Thank you. I've enjoyed it. What do you think about the Happy Life can help our audience develop itself?
There was one thing that I really liked about Happy Life, and it was when you said that you were in that pool.
Oh, okay, the reservoir.
Yes.
I was drowning.
And you were drowning. And you were holding on to your friend. And then you decided to let go because you were worried about him more than yourself. And by that act, he was able to get out of the pool, contact,
and yell for help on our
yell
behalf.
for help, and it saved you.
Right.
So by you sacrificing yourself, actually saved yourself.
Absolutely.
And I thought that was just wonderful. That was one of the most wonderful things that I read. There was a lot more to it.
Thank you.
But that was the one that really stood out. Is that, when that one act, even though it saved your life, but that was a very, very selfless act.
Thank you. Well, my mother always taught me.
You had a good mother.
That yes, absolutely, I had a great mother, and she always taught me that try not to harm the other person, and not to hurt anyone. And because that during the Second World War, my mother experienced a lot of hard times, and China was invaded by another country for a long 8 years. In her own town alone, it's like experiencing 3 years of bombing, running away from the enemy fire. So she never had a chance to finish even, high school. And but because during those hard times, she learned a lot of life lessons. And that's why when I wrote this book, and I learned the first lesson is by helping, and it said, helping ourselves by helping others is the key to a happy life. When you really think about it, when you share your smile with other people, when you are giving a helping hand, that joy, that satisfaction is always coming back to you tenfold. When you share your love, especially with your young children, your grandchildren, or even the people that you don't know, young child, when you share your smile with them, so often, often, Barry, that in the hospital, maybe just shopping center, grocery store, airports,
rippling effect.
When you see a little child, you wave and you smile. They always smile back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a quick indication that the mirror that you had been talking about, it always reflects back what you do, what you share. And when you think about what I lose today, you don't know how many people can benefit all from your gracefulness.
Right.
When you think about I lost all the profit or all the money that I made, in the same time, one person's loss, the other people's gain.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing is lost in this world.
That's right. It just
when
transfers.
you think about it, we just transfer our energy and synergy. Mm-hmm. And as long as you find a way of balance ourselves, we can find happiness. And life is about balancing.
It is.
As long as we are able to find our balance floor, we can always stand tall and be happy.
Well, it's a universal law, too, when you think about it.
Uh-huh.
Your body, when you go out and it's freezing cold and you forget your jacket, the first thing that happens is you start shivering. Your body's core temperature starts to drop. Your body wants to get it back to its core temperature, 98.6. So it shivers to create warmth, to get back into balance. You go out and it's too hot, and you have a coat on, you start to sweat. Body's trying to cool itself down to get back into balance. We have a sympathetic and a parasympathetic nervous system called a fight or flight system. You get scared, your heart starts beating, your salivatory glands dry up, you get ready to run or to fight. That's just our nature. And all your heart's pumping really hard, and then when the threat or whatever is over, the parasympathetic nervous system cuts in and calms you down. And you got the seasons.
Thank Lord for that.
That's right. And everything tries to strive for balance.
Strive for balance.
We have the summer, we have the winter, we have night, we have day. And whenever we get out of balance is when everything starts to kind of go wrong.
That's right.
Because the world always tries to get back into a balance, whether we see it or not.
Right. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming to join us today, and I enjoy your wisdom, and I'm sure that our audience also enjoyed your teaching. And
well, thank you.
Thank you, and I hope that maybe you can come back again or have your own show and share your philosophy with more people. And because we all need a balanced life, and we all need to continue search for happiness. And you can visit me or email me www.happylifebook.com, or email me if you have any questions. happylifebook@yahoo.com, one word, happylifebook@yahoo.com. If you have any questions in reference to today's conversation, or if you have any personal questions or life questions, obstacles that you need advices, I'm here to serve you and be your friend, and I love to listen to the story that you are willing to share with us. In the meantime, and at our closing, tell us a little bit about your book.
Well, what you can do is you can go to my website at www.soprocitypublishing.com. That's SUPRACITY publishing, all one word, .com.
Okay.
Or you can see my blog spot, which is www.soprocity.blogspot.com. And I do a podcast once a week, and you can access the podcast, and I've already given 7 episodes, so you can read those or listen to those, and if you like. I hope you enjoy it.
We thank you so much. Golden audience, I wish you have a great night, and thank you for joining us. I wish you have a wonderful week coming, and see you next Wednesday to a happy life. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.